I'm David Perpignan, game designer at Rainbow Six Siege.
I am Ángel Maldonado, game designer in Rainbow Six Siege.
I'm Albert Petit, project coordinator in the balancing cell in Rainbow Six.
I'm Alejandro Yepes Serrano, gameplay programmer in Rainbow Six Siege.
The objective of balancing is trying to keep the game fun and fair for everyone, so all the players can enjoy, invest time and progress with their operators.
The balanced game should be one that you can enjoy playing any operator. It doesn't mean that they are all useful in all the situations, but all of them have a specific spot where you can enjoy them and get the maximum profit of them.
And also we have to keep in mind the different skill levels, so different populations that play the game, they play it differently, and we have to keep an eye on that, because balancing for new players it's one thing, and we have to keep an eye on also players that have been playing this game for 7 years.
It requires this creativity to find a formula that where new players can enter the game and understand the gadget, the ability of the operator, and at the same time giving to the pro players this chance to explore new ways to use it, be more creative. So in that sense, this is one of the biggest challenges I think from our cell.
So you have to evaluate every aspect of the game in a complex environment, that you cannot just pick one thing and evaluate, is this overpowered or not? You have to evaluate it on a specific situation with another company of operators or gadgets. So everything is relative, let's say. So normally when we identify that we have to act on something to balance it, we evaluate if it's a big change or a small change. If it's a small change and it will not require a complete rework, we try to evaluate the balancing levels that we have, that in the end are like parameters that during the production of the gadget or operator we already prepared.
So these levels that we have, it can be from different natures. It can come from the operator itself, it can come from the gadget, the specific gadget characteristics, or even the number of gadgets that are in the loadout of this specific operator, for example.
Besides the operator ability, we can also think about his loadout, because every operator has a weapon and every operator has a secondary gadget. So depending on what we want to do on them, we can keep the ability as it is and not change, and we can take a look at his weapon, the power of his weapon, or what secondary gadgets the operator has available.
Yeah, I think a good example of a lever that it looks like something not super huge is like the area of the mute, that we change from a cylinder to a sphere, and suddenly you open tons of other systems to interact with it. And for example, you can place your Ace Selma charge in the wall, in the highest part, or even fuse the wall. And this is coming only because we touch a lever, that is, we change the shape of the mute, and suddenly other mechanics appear and other interactions. So we have to evaluate everything as a whole.
Another way that we have to balance operators is to look at their own ecosystems. So, for example, we can identify some, like, for example, we have the breachers in the game, we have the roamers in the game, and something we've learned, I would say, during the life of the balancing cell is that you don't need always to touch the operator that is causing the issue. You sometimes have to look at his ecosystem and modify one of other operators. It's something we see really often with roamers, for example. Instead of affecting the roamer that is causing the issue, you modify another roamer, you make it more powerful, and that directly affects to that whole ecosystem. Other roamers go down and the peak of the other that we change, it's going up. And in reverse, if we nerf a roamer like we did with Mozi and the P10, you can see how he goes down and the other options for that spot are going up directly.
I think the best example is Maverick. Maverick was designed to create holes on reinforced walls, so you can pick through and create small rotation holes. And this is the way that was designed, and we imagine that it's going to be used. So when players, less skilled players take it, they are just going to the default wall, create the hole and pick through. But when pro players put their hands in Maverick, they invent the Maverick trick. So they know how the game works, as they discover how to destroy the reinforcement without making an actual hole. So this is kind of the difference we have between the players. A good example of how the skill can change the way that an operator is used.
And I think that Maverick is a great example of that, because literally the creativity that you have with the torch, it's huge. You can go from a super small hole and peak, you can make rotations. So the Maverick tricking. So this is a really good example of these different levels of knowledge of a gadget that you can have, or gadget or operator.
I also find quite interesting what's the path for a new player for these kind of interactions, because you start playing, you play the operator, you experiment what you have in hand, and then you go to Reddit, you start to check, and you see, okay, I can do this with Maverick, and how you evolve from the base of the operator and how much you learn until you can use it almost as a pro, because you're seeing Pro League, you're seeing guides online, and that's great. It's like a super interesting path for and you can find it almost in every operator.
And it's kind of cool how the knowledge propagates, because the pros discover it, then it goes to Reddit, so it starts to be played in ranked, they are gonna start using it, and this becomes a norm in the game. So now in every match you see this mechanic being used, and how it goes lower and lower in the skill level, and now it's the normal use to this operator or this gadget.
And maybe for newcomers you think, I will give him one canister more of fuel so he can open more. But then if you do it, suddenly in Pro League they are opening the whole map. So that's the tricky point.
I think that when we reach this point where we create or tweak some gadget or operator, and it has this, it gives this creativity to the player, like you can see many options just checking the mechanics of the gadget. For me, it's the most satisfactory among all the stuff that we can do as a balancing cell. Lion was the first challenge that we had as a cell. In fact, I would say that it was like the reward, the spark, like that made us became the balancing cell.
We evaluated multiple systems, and in the end the wall hack was a pretty specific system for Lion, so we wanted to get rid of it and use an already existing system in the game, that is the ping system. So now you have an easy delivery system that is just press a button, but the information you are getting is not that precise, so we don't have this wall hack effect anymore, and everything is consistent. So we are not creating anything unique in Lion. It's using an already existing system. So I think a pretty important point is that when you evaluate Lion, it looks pretty easy to dodge the ability. You only have to stand still. You will not get detected. But this is a specific case of Rainbow. You have many systems. In this case, for example, you can have a drone pinging you. So if you move, you will get wall banged, and if you don't move, you will get ping in red with a precise drone. So in the end, this is a specific showcase of multiple systems acting together, and you cannot evaluate an operator only by itself or the ability. You have to think it in the whole ecosystem of Rainbow with all the interaction with other systems. And that was the main problem with Lion, combining with pushing and droning and the outline, so complex system acting together.
Yeah, so it's something that we love to do. It's checking players' reaction to the changes that we do. See what they found. We expect something when we release a new feature, but they always bring in something new that we didn't thought about it. And we enjoy looking how they have fun with the changes.
It's curious how sometimes you see like maybe it's a Twitter conversation, or even the whole mood on opinion of the community, but you see how it evolves, the discussion, and how similar it's sometimes to the same discussions we have here.
It's really cool when we think that, okay, they understand what we are doing and why we are doing this. You feel like, okay, we nailed it.
Yeah, in the end, anybody in the cell has the opportunity to express their opinion regarding a change that you are about to release from any discipline. We all play the game, everybody has the opportunity to share the feedback, and this is like our first line. We gather the feedback, we discuss it, we adapt, and this is super cool, having this opportunity to us, having this small ecosystem, maybe not representative of the whole community, but as I said, with people from different levels, it's a nice first step.
At the end, in Rainbow, we are balancing a sandbox. So everything that we do, it's just to create tools and give player options to do what they want. It's like the defenders are creating a puzzle and attackers are trying to solve this puzzle. So as a balancing team, we are just giving tools to them to create new things and to solve the puzzles in different ways.